Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to JohnnyWould, the John Grimes Show. Talking the nitty gritty here from Music City. Yeehaw!
They say it ain't who you are, but who you know. Fake it till you make it go high when they go low. Standing out is gonna be a lonely road. So I'm following the one that's paved in rhinestones. Must be doing something right. I'm just gonna shine my light, 'cause I've never been one to do things by the book. Say the bleach went to my brain, say my dreams are so insane. Oh, but I'm just gonna do what Johnny would. Call me shady, I'll spill the tea. That's a compliment to me. Oh, but I'm just gonna do what Johnny would. Oh, I'm just gonna do what Johnny would.
Honey, now let's keep it real.
I love the nitty gritty from Music City. Since you're already here, just stay with us. This is Janet Jarrard. She is a dear, dear client, friend of mine from, we were talking about like 25 years maybe ago.
At least.
But before we got acquainted in hair, I'm from Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. And I remember growing up watching TNN, the national network, and this is almost like a surreal moment because you were on TV all the time, and you were doing kind of what I'm trying to do now. So like this is like I'm kind of like
You're expanding.
yeah, but now I feel like I'm like under like you're like under a microscope, like you're the professional, and I'm just the wannabe. I'm the wannabe.
Please.
I'm the wannabe.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh no.
But yeah, this is such a great moment because I thought with starting the podcast, people might want to get a little more familiar with me, and then we were talking about who would be a good person to maybe like. Who knows me and would
Guide you to talk about yourself.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you don't do that very much. You don't
I
talk
talk
about
a lot, but
you talk a lot, but you don't talk about yourself. You're not a self-aggrandizing kind of person.
Thank you. It's a compliment.
So when you were telling me about this project and this dream that you have, one of the first things I thought of is like, wow, am I going to get to interview you? Because I feel like all of these years that I've been in the chair with you, we've had conversation.
Yeah.
But it's been organic and just growing out of whatever was going on with each other at the time. And this particular moment right here is about introducing you to the people who are going to be enjoying this project, this new
era,
venture that you've
new
got. And I have lots of questions about why now.
Okay.
What's your dream about? What's your goal to accomplish with this?
I guess where this kind of started for me was I was getting ready to go on this tour this summer, and it's always bittersweet to leave home and people you love and your day to day. I love what I do. I love the people. I love the relationships, and every day I go to work and the hair may look the same. Maybe the same formula. I slap on some roots or whatever, but the takeaways throughout the day are so fulfilling to me to just evolve and grow. And I'm a person that I just constantly want to be like thinking about the next thing, whether that's something I'm doing or a goal, and I like supporting each other's goals and evolution and being a champion for everybody, and when I started to think about leaving to go on the road, I was like, I'm not going to have that day-to-day fulfillment or that
The interaction.
The relationship, the interaction, the support. It's like I call it therapy.
Yes.
But it's it's so rewarding and fulfilling. Like I always have a couple takeaways from the day, something that makes me think, or it's just evolving. And when you're on the road or you're, I'm not behind the chair, I'm working with the same person or a couple people, a
Yes.
couple hours of the day, and you saw them yesterday. So, and unless it's what you had catering, that day, you know what I mean? It just kind of like, there's always not a lot to report on, but my day to day here, are folks in, entertainment, medical field, therapy, therapists, veterinarians, if something's going on with my pet, if something's going on with, mental health, or maybe going through something challenging or a loss of a loved one, or even a client, or anything. It's like I know I'm gonna have support every day, and and I'm gonna connect with somebody, and that's gonna sort of carry me through. And that's what I'm most thankful for when I get up in the morning.
You came to Nashville for a whole different purpose, though, for a whole different, the goal that you set out for is not what you wound up doing. What did you come to Nashville to do?
Okay, so I came to Nashville. I went to MTSU with a recording industry major. I had declared, and thought in a creative way I'd find my place in the music business. Anything creative, management, marketing, artist development. I'm not a musician, but I love putting things together, connecting dots, and building something. I love a beginning and an end, and I love a creative, like a
Project management.
creating
Yes.
something.
Yes.
So.
Helping someone, yourself or someone else, start from point A and get to point Z, and all those steps in between.
I might have pursued hair, not to interrupt,
Go ahead.
earlier on, but I was there weren't a lot of guys doing hair where I grew up, and my dad, my stepmom, somebody came to the house, cut hair. I always had an entrepreneurial type backbone, to want to, I knew it costs a lot to live a lifestyle, or, do things, and stuff. And for some reason, growing up, I didn't know, like, hair could take me very far. But when I got to Nashville, going to MTSU and stuff, that's when, I started to see a bigger potential in hair industry. So, so I started, probably like with the TNN stuff and some of the live tapings. You could, back in the '90s, there's so much you could partake in. And I had gone to, I don't know if it was a concert or something, and sort of got a behind the scenes sort of perspective at a TV thing, and I was watching some hairstylists, off camera, had a conversation with like a associate of the stylist and artist, and just started asking questions like, is there money in this? Is this, how many hours a week? What's the potential like? Because I always like, if you're gonna do anything, you go all the way and go big. So I was like, what could I really do with this? Like, is this a whole nother something I never even knew existed? That kind of thing.
Okay. So from someone who's been in front of the camera, the role of a hair makeup artist is so fundamentally important, because to go on camera and to be relaxed and to be confident, you have to feel like you look good. So that's what you realized that you could provide for that, for those types of professionals. I've been in both chairs. I've been in the chair of a television makeup artist, hairstylist, and then I've been in the chair of this man who, when I had left that business behind, knew how to make me feel like I was looking the best I could look. As shallow and vain as that might sound, the truth of the matter is everybody wants to feel confident, to feel the best that they can, to present their best selves in any situation. What's it like knowing that when a client got up from your chair with a great haircut, a great color, just a great style, and they walked out of your salon feeling fresh and pretty, and what does that do for you? I know what it does for the client. What does that do for you?
I remember, first thought that comes to mind, I remember probably 20 years ago, I had it was the only client I had seen a few times, and they had to relocate, I think somewhere in like Asia or I don't know, somewhere where her husband was in the military, and for her birthday or something, he asked what she wanted for her birthday, and it was to come to Nashville to see me again for an appointment.
Oh, wow.
That really resonated with me as like this, that was huge, made me feel so good. And then another lady I had, she was struggling with weight and, self-image, love, and everything. I don't know if she was going through a divorce or something, but gave her a makeover, and I think I saw her, 3 months later, and she said the day she walked out of the chair, she just made a complete life change because, she had lost like a lot of weight and had felt so good about herself. I think she might have even like gotten divorced or something. But the hair gave her was a stepping stone to the next step, and then the next step, and the next step, because we can all like start a diet or try to lose weight or do these life goals that take a lot of time, you know what I mean? But the hair can happen in like an hour or two.
You came to Nashville to school with one goal in mind, and at some point in that process you realized that what you thought you wanted to do wasn't what you wanted to do. What do you do when you have to reassess and reconsider and reinvent what you thought you wanted to do? How did you do it?
I had a very supportive family, and I'm always like really, as I get older, I'm more aware of how just unconditional love, support from your family can carry you so far. Like, when the rest of the world may not have your back, but your family has your back, like you can do anything. And I think I look back, and I was so fortunate. Both my parents, my grandmother, just loved me to death. So it gave me just foundation I always had support. College was a good experience. There's a lot that comes out of that, just social skills, finding yourself, like I don't regret going to a university. I do, it's nice to see today that kids today can follow their like creative selves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the world's more open now to thinking outside the box, it's being unique and all that. It wasn't quite like that in the 90s. I look back and I think, I had started doing hair at 11 years old with my grandmother, but at the time that wasn't masculine or man, and it wasn't like a real man's job or a thing. Like it wasn't. I just didn't. I felt still like I wasn't. I was still sort of. You want to do your parents proud too. I didn't think there was money in hair. I really didn't. I had made crafts growing up. I had a cousin. We would do like festivals and sell things we made. He did woodworking. I did crazy other little things. Made bunny rabbits and at Easter, and we sold them at churches and stuff. But I had early on, learned how to make a living and be self-sustainable. Sort of my grandparents farmed, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I had farming background on
Yeah.
the farm, and you work hard, you sell something, there's it's a survival, a sense of thing, and I just it just didn't all click right away with the hair thing. I think I had to get out of the small town, get to a bigger city or town, and just see the potential in it. I didn't really know it existed until I came to
Yes.
Nashville and
Yes.
when I went to college. So had I not gone to college, I wouldn't have
You
got to
wouldn't have known.
Nashville, and I wouldn't have
Exactly.
got, it was a stepping stone to figuring my way, but I'd always had a natural, love of hair, making people feel good, my grandmother was older. She, she was in her late 70s when I was even like teen, early teen, but I would make her over, watching the Golden Girls or
yeah.
something. I was like, okay, we can go a little more hip,
Oh, how
grandma,
sweet.
whatever, and makeup and stuff. But I didn't know that there was a career in that. So, so that came as I started to get out and explore, and college led me to that.
One of the things and just knowing you as long as I've known you, one of the things that I know about you is that you never really had a drive or an ambition to.
I thought you were gonna say childhood.
No, you had a great childhood. You
Well,
never had
but
an
I was an only
ambition.
child, so you do kind of. It is different.
It's
But,
different.
yeah.
You never had an ambition as a stylist. You never had an ambition to be one of those celebrity stylists who had his name on all different kinds of products and
Yeah.
that was not your goal. What was your why? I have a friend and a gentleman that I know in Nashville who started a health and wellness, a holistic wellness program to advise people, guide people who need to lose weight and get healthy. Very much a functional medicine program. And one of the things that he stresses with his clients is when you want to change your life, you have to know the why. There has to be a why, because that's what keeps you focused, that's what keeps you guided, that's what keeps you moving ahead. What was your why?
I don't know that you're the first, this might be a first time that I've thought about the why. I think really probably struggled with a lot of self-confidence growing up, being a little unique, creative, out of the box. I think probably I found my confidence in putting together a look. How and I watched my mom do the same thing. You know what I mean? You have everybody has a rough day, but the show must go on. You put your best face on, and it makes you feel better. And I think I got into clothes and changing my hairstyle and all these things, when you're growing up, because maybe it took attention to something else that I wasn't as confident in. I wasn't good at sports. I was really skinny and all the things and just awkward, but like I knew how to dress. I knew how to, I kept up with fashion and hair and trends and stuff. But maybe it was an escape, and it was it was like putting the I don't know, like the not armor on, but like that layer of I don't know, feeling good about something. Maybe I didn't, maybe inside I was struggling, but I could really feel good about how how I looked. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it gave me confidence to do the next thing. It's what I knew. My mom she always had makeup on when she put breakfast on the table. You know what I mean? And how you present yourself, you have one impression to make, when people meet you, and it's not about being perfect or anything. It's just presenting your best version. I do believe like we have a body that's not a temple, but what I'm trying to say, like it's like your car. You polish the car, you vacuum the car, you get the French fries out. It's like you present yourself the best. We had a job interview or a anything, like you honor yourself, and that's how you magnifies, or it trickles into everything else. If you just have to feel good. Maybe everybody has a different way.
One of the things I've heard different people that I respect from all different walks of life talk about is sometimes the way we build self-respect is to act as if we have it when we don't. For instance, let's just talk about parenting. With a parent, you teach your child to keep his or her room clean, because that, first of all, the act of doing that is a discipline. But then if you keep your room clean and straight and orderly, and that translates somehow strangely into how you feel about yourself.
When your car's a mess and your closet's a mess, and everything looks like a mess.
A mess.
Your life, you're probably in
Yes.
nothing's sort of centered, or you're kind of off the rails every which way.
Yeah. So
Right.
it almost doesn't matter whether that mess is reflecting how someone feels about themselves, or if that mess is just a habit.
Yeah.
When that mess is addressed and corrected, something inside shifts. The profession that you have been in making women and men look good, sometimes has been characterized as shallow, artificial, that it's
Surface.
Thank you. That it's surface.
I just feel like
If someone said that, if someone characterized your profession as something that's just doesn't really matter, it's really surface, it's just all show, how would you respond to that?
I just say you got to work with what you got. Any age, wherever you are, you work with what you got. We can all you got to shave your face. If you got to put a smile on, if you got to fake it till you make it. But it's a place to start. Sometimes we don't have all the answers, or B, C, A, B, C, D, E, but we're trying to get somewhere, and our appearance and our physical.
Yes.
I just feel like it's just the place to start. It's a stepping stone, because you may not have the job yet, or the partner, or you know what I mean, but it doesn't mean you have to chase unrealistic, or to look like a movie star or something. You know what I mean? It just means like something that makes you feel good.
From my experience and my upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
there was a tremendous amount of focus and importance placed on how I looked.
Mm-hmm.
How I have two younger sisters, and all three of us were always dressed perfectly, shoes shined, hymns just right.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous amount of importance placed on how we looked, and so I grew up.
Maybe it didn't feel good.
I got to a place in my life, it's where that didn't feel good anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to then start deep diving into what I really truly felt and thought about myself. Not my appearance,
Yeah.
but myself. There are many people who have started out with the opposite experience, where they weren't, where there was no significance attached to how they looked or how they dressed, and in fact, in some cases, they didn't have the resources.
Didn't even know.
Didn't even know
what it was.
Didn't even know what
Didn't
it
know.
was. They didn't have the resources to even have done that had they wanted to. And so there's a synchronizing that has to happen between who we are on the outside and who we are on the inside.
I think it's part of finding, tuning into finding your self-expression. Like this, I think what you're talking about is I was raised, tuck your shirt in, hold your shoulders up, be manly or whatever, it's
Yes.
like an expectation what society or what is expected of you. That's different than a creative form of self-expression.
Exactly.
Where, you like color or I like, I like to make, people smile with, something fun, or I like, I'm just getting there now. Really, truly finding I think I always explored it, but I'm starting to understand and be really vulnerable with taking risks. If I just like something, maybe it's not the most flattering. Maybe people won't understand it, but if it makes me happy, it makes me feel good, then that's a reflection of what's inside.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's not just it becomes not for everyone else. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just for you. You know what I mean? Like I could go and have LASIK eye surgery and not wear glasses. People ask me all the time, "Oh, why haven't you done that?" I'm like, "Well, I've worn glasses since I was 13, and I like my glasses, and I wear a different pair of glasses almost every day. It's like a different lipstick for you.
Yes,
or
exactly.
and
Different earrings.
yeah,
Exactly.
and I think it's fun, and I can I just like playing with colors and having fun. It's not for anybody else anymore.
One of the wonderful things about the time that we live in right now is that there is so much more acceptance and even encouragement of self-expression, of being who you are, of first of all learning who you are, and then expressing that, living that. What it seems to me that what you have been involved in the last 25 years or so is helping people find a level of comfort and a level of and the right level of self-expression, of saying, this is who I am, this is what I look like, this is the hair color I like, this is the style I like. Some of those things sound trivial, but all taken together, they're part of what goes into making us who we are. I mean, that's my opinion. Do you agree with that? Or
I agree. I think there's a lifestyle component. What do you have time for? Where your priority, what's important to you. it's just an individual thing. I think
Yeah.
that's what's so neat about the relationship part of the client, relationship, stylist relationship is you really get to know the person. Like, I know who's really going to do their hair, not do their hair, and who's going to, or how they feel. There's some people that really just don't, that's not their thing. You know what I mean? That's fine too. You know what I mean? Um, but you try to get inside of a person and try to bring out, who they are. You try to learn what makes them feel most
Uh-huh.
whole, confident.
But the truth of all that, one of the truths of all that is that you have the capacity for doing that. Some people don't. You have the capacity, the heart, the the spirit that wants to bring the best out in other people. There's nothing contrived or artificial about that. About that with you. That's part of who you are. Before we sat down to do this little talk, I made some notes.
Okay.
And I just glanced down at this piece of paper that I had made a note on.
Uh-oh.
And I read this. I mean, I hadn't even seen it when I was writing
I
these.
just saw that.
I read this. It says, "It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." Mother Teresa said that. So you've been giving to other people for this professional career of yours. But because I know you, I can say that the relationships that you've developed come out of the love that you put into doing that, to giving that. It wasn't just a I'll do your hair in exchange for my fee.
Mm-hmm.
There was you had a
There's a personal.
Yes. You enjoyed. The real payoff for you was seeing how much, first of all, how much your clients appreciated what you could do for them, but then it was the personal, it was the relationship part.
Mm-hmm. I guess I remember growing up some pivotal moments or people that made me feel important or took the time to listen or understand me. And I don't know, like, I used to say I was an old soul. I don't know what you call it, but I just I've always connected with people, and if I wasn't doing hair, I don't know, like it would be something with similar, lift people up,
Yeah.
inspire people,
Yeah.
and look at your strengths, play to your strengths. Everybody's got something to give, or put out there. You know what I mean? And so there's always something to present. This is the show to who we are. You know what I mean? So I think I don't know. Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So
We'll have a
is there
sip of wine
something
for Mother Teresa.
Yes.
I feel like
to
the body of Mother
all right.
Teresa.
So certainly that dear woman left this world with some amazing wisdom and spiritual truth.
Mm-hmm.
Is there someone else that has inspired you in your life, or
Well, this is
or challenged you to be a better person, be all that you can be?
um. I don't want to say the word joking. We were honoring Mother Teresa with our sip of wine.
Yes.
But I immediately thought of my stepmom's mother. She was a very devout Catholic. I grew up in a Catholic church
Uh-huh.
where I was talking about this the other day. You know, like it was very ritual based. You know,
Yes.
you say the prayer, you do this, you stand up, you sit down, you say all the
Yes.
things. You know,
Yeah.
you go, you confess in a booth. You know, it's very very
Ritualistic.
ritualistic.
Mm-hmm.
Less of a um, less personal, less
Yes.
you know, like. But anyway, but my we called her Nana. Um, she was Italian, and her and her sisters, they went to church every day. They prayed the rosary, they did all the things, but they really lived like Mother Teresa. Like, it exposed me to just a whole not like a very devout, like spirit-filled, Catholic, loving, like servant's heart. You know, you just woke up to serve and to bless people, and they truly um, loved you how you came. You know, like I think of Jesus. You know, all the talk right now is the Last Supper and all this stuff in the
Oh
news.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyway, but it was truly that. Like, I saw it in action, and I had grown up in a Catholic church where I didn't really that didn't resonate or translate in Sunday Mass. You know, but I remember when I'd heard all the stories. You know, of her serving and loving everybody as they were, accepting. There was no judgment. There was no talking about
Right.
you. It was just complete love
Loving
and
everyone.
love it. You know, unconditional love,
Yes.
like you think of Jesus. And
Yes.
I went to her funeral. Maybe it was like, I don't know if it's been 10 years ago now, and to her church that she had her whole life, you know, been a part of. And I saw just such a beautiful. It all made sense. Like the whole. That was probably one of the most beautiful services. It was very. Yeah, it was very moving, because the heart was to give, to bring other people up, lift each other up. You know, like everybody had something good. You know, you saw the good, and that's what you wanted to celebrate, or you just, you know. And yeah,
She showed you what love in action looked
yeah,
like.
yeah. It was the real deal.
You knew my late husband. He actually was the reason I ever met you.
Okay.
Your cousin, Karen.
Karen.
My late husband was a songwriter. Karen was a songwriter. They had met each other, and Karen had told him about you, and
Okay.
we eventually
Wow.
came to your salon.
Okay.
You know his story, and I won't get into that, other than he became a very successful songwriter. He overcame incredible odds to do that. He was one of the most intentional people I've ever known. You also are very intentional. You have this podcast that you want to grow and develop, and you have taken very intentional, specific steps to get us to this place tonight. Was that something you feel like was just a part of your psyche, a part of you? Were you hardwired that way, or has that been something that's been fostered in you by people that were in your life? Because I asked that question because I'm just the opposite. I look back at my life, and there's very little about it that's ever been fully intentional. It's sort of been just a flow into the wonderful things that have happened, the blessings that I've had in my life. So I'm curious about how much of that you feel like you were born with, or how much of that is something that you learned to do.
I think it's both. I do think you're kind of born, I'm just creative, and
Yes.
You get bored easy. I've always got the next thing, and but somebody asked me recently, like, if I had a bucket list of and I feel like I've almost done every.
Oh, see,
I mean,
that's
I've
great.
done a lot of things. I already feel like if I didn't do anything else, I've done so much I'm thankful for. But when I've started since asking other people what is their bucket list, and people will say, well, I want to travel here and I want to go here and do, see this place. And my bucket list, I had to think about it a minute, but it was like something else I wanted to learn, or like another evolution of something, whether it was something so simple as to go back and relearn like some history that maybe I checked out in class, and didn't take all that in, or it was something I still wanted to learn, or I can throw food together, but I couldn't do like a gourmet meal really. I can cook Southern like my grandmother, which is great, but I would love to learn more about wine and food and like maybe another language. I don't know, like just I want to evolve. Like I feel like aging, I'm learned through doing the hair and the makeup and all that we're all gonna get old. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I know.
we can like pump it up and add this and
Yeah,
that
exactly.
and whatever. But we have to be young up here.
Yes.
And I think when you stop, because all this doesn't matter if you are old up here. My cousin Ollie, she says, don't let the old in.
Yes.
And not letting the old in isn't about the physical appearance. It is about stimulating the brain, which maybe brings this all back together, because that's what I was saying I missed about, not being with my clients every day.
Yes.
It's that, that energy, you have something exciting happening, or you're learning, someone's learning this, or taking a risk to do that, and it kind of motivates and it gets my brain thinking about the things that maybe I sort of put on a shelf or didn't, I've wanted to do, but maybe like just took the back burner, you know what I mean? And it's being held accountable to keep that creative energy flowing and the wheels turning. And I think that's that's the fountain of youth. I think as long as we keep it interesting and keep it fresh and reimagining, even if that's ourselves, it's when I said earlier about looking good, it's like it's really what makes you feel good and makes you, you know what I mean? And that may be different today than it was 5 years ago, you know what I mean? But I think it's the stimulation of challenging yourself. If there's something you've always wanted to do it. If there's something if you're afraid of something, sometimes if you're a little afraid, that's a sign.
That's a sign you're supposed to do it.
Like putting some skin in the game. You know what I mean? If
Yes.
if I'd done everything that was just easy, or handed to me, I wouldn't be half the person I was today.
Yes.
It's putting yourself in those sort of uncomfortable situations, using your mind, thinking it through, but taking a leap of faith, and that's staying young, and I think
that may be the takeaway. That might be the takeaway quote.
I think when you feel good, you look younger. I think when you're
the
happy,
John's fountain of youth.
yeah.
This
When
is
you're
what,
happy, you're gonna
Yes.
radiate energy. It's all energy. I think we're just energy.
We are energy.
So how about this? Cheers to growing.
Here's to the 25-ish years
Yeah.
that we've had a friendship,
Yes.
and let's go for at least 25 more.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. We're only gonna get better, right?
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for doing this.
All right, now, Talk is cheap and time's expensive. Thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe. Have a good one.